Love, as I have loved you. What does that really mean? Sometimes it's hard to understand what Jesus meant when he said it, because in the world that we live in, people love us based on circumstance or preference. Like, if I like what you like, you'll like me. Or if I do what you do, you'll accept me. Yet the one that should have rejected me because I wasn't at all like him didn't. Matter of fact, in spite of my imperfections, failures, and flaws, Christ saw something in me that was worth reconciling back to him. So it's no longer I who live, but he who lives through me, and gives me the courage to fearlessly love you, despite what you do to me, or how you treat me, at my job, at my school, at my church, even in my own family. So let's not view each other in light of our earthly stature, but more as Christ's ambassadors, showing the world that we who are once blinded to this love have tasted this love and lived to share his love. I believe this, and only this, will help put an end to hate and animosity. It ain't no wishful thinking, man. It's his philosophy. And prayerfully, it's our democracy. That if we did, it would change everything.
You're listening to Heavenly Things from my new album, Peace of Mind. You can support this work by downloading the music on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play.
I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind on heavenly things. I dwell on these things, sweet heavenly things. I dwell on these things, sweet heavenly things. I dwell on these things, sweet heavenly things. I dwell on these things. Yeah, in the morning as the sun comes up, my skin feels the light. My heart is beating to the rhythm of the music of new life. Eating the scripture like it's food that's bread, it does take me high. Oh, the earthly matters do not matter. I'm moving towards spiritual delights. How Mashiach shines so bright. Sweet heavenly things, I dwell on these things. 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 There is so much that we don't see because of our earthly minds. I wonder what would happen if we pray for vision through spiritual lives. Remove the blindness from my eyes so that I truly can see. Oh, the blessing that you have for me, if I obey you, will become reality. You will set your people free. Sweet heavenly things, I dwell on these things. 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 Our heavenly Father, these things, sweet heavenly things. I dwell on these things, sweet heavenly things. I dwell on these things. I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind on heavenly things.
I pray that you enjoyed this. You can get more music and motivation for your spiritual journey at setapartheart.com.
Hi, it's Hadara. How are you? This song is called Renew Me from Yahuwah Acoustics Volume 2. You can support this work by downloading the music on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play.
Yeah, is it possible to hide away the things I feel inside? It may be time that I confide in you and tell you what is true. The truth is that I am afraid to free the woman I was made to be, the person who is somewhere deep inside. She's still alive. Father, renew me so you can use me. Would you still choose me after all that I've done? Father, I'm broken, but please take my heart as a token of love. Please take my heart as a token. Dear, I'm longing to be free from all the pain and misery the generations left for me down on through time. So please release me from my pain and help me start over again, so I can be the one you're calling me to be. I will be free. Yeah. Father, renew me so you can use me. Would you still choose me after all that I've done? Father, I'm broken, but please take my heart as a token of love. Please take my heart as a token. Father, renew me so that you can use me. Why did you choose me even after all I've done? You know I'm still broken, but here's my heart as a token of love. Please take my heart as a token.
Get more music and motivation for your spiritual journey at setapartheart.com.
you so, simply because you're his child. You're his child.
You can support this work by downloading the music on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. Get more music and motivation for your spiritual journey at setapartheart.com.
This is our phone app. We want you all to check that out at Google or the Apple Play Store. Download that phone app, Android or Apple. Check it out. Greetings, 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 all of you. I hope that this message finds you well today. And I hope that everybody's doing good and great and all of that good stuff, and that this is finding you well. Let's see who we have in our chat room right now. Let me see who we have here. I'm listening to there we go. Let's see who we have here. Who was the first person that tuned in tonight? Queen. How you doing, Queen? Cleo, how you doing? Glad to see you here. Sister Cheryl Hepburn, Sister Linda Vickers, how are you doing tonight? Sister Marie, how you doing? All the way from West Palm Beach. Avia, how you doing, my sister? How you doing? Stephen, how you pronounce that name? Mikhail, how you doing, Stephen? Let's see who we have here. I got my glasses on, but y'all look over me, okay? Brother Jonah, all of you all that are here tonight. That was Sister Hadara. Hadara is new to our playlist, and we're glad that we were able to add her. Very, very talented guitar and the keyboard, so very talented. So just watching the news, a lot's happening. A lot continues to happen across the world and across the country. So that's all that we can say, what's happening there. And but we're still always going to be here, always going to be with you, and to do our thing that we have to do. That's what we're going to do. That's how we do it. Now, that is our contact information right here. Our number is 833-423-8435. There's our email address. If you would like to give on Patreon, you can do it right there. And then that's our Cash App. And again, I told you all about the phone app. And you know what I forgot to do tonight? I forgot to go and let people know from the phone app that we're on. So that's the whole purpose of doing that, so you all can almost be one of the first to get it. So while I'm doing this and while I'm talking, I'm going to do it real quick. It doesn't take that long. And you go to the Apple Store and go to the Play Store, get that app, and you'll enjoy it. It's a great app. I love it. I really, really, really love the app. You get a notification often, so I'm letting people know that we are live now for Bible study. And I'll show you how quick that comes across I didn't capitalize anything, but that's okay. You don't have to. I thought I was hitting it, but what I was doing was hitting something else because I'm not in direct contact with the keyboard. Let me see. So anyway, as the older people and my grandmama and them used to say, anywho, we are live now for Bible study on YouTube. So when you do that, let's see here. Let me see how fast this works. So I'm going to hit the push notification to send, and let's see how fast this comes across. Send it right now. And there it is right there, just that quick. It came across. And it says, we are live now for Bible study on YouTube. That's how quick it comes across. So you all get that phone app, and on the phone app, I have to show it to you one day. Maybe that would be one of the featured things we do. But it has, when you click on remember, it's got something up there. It's got the I can't show it. Yes, that part right there where it says remember the Sabbath. If you hit that, it takes you to a whole different thing. I wish that it said enter, but the designer, he doesn't like where it says enter. He doesn't like that. He thinks you ought to hit it and find it, but I let him buy with that one because he did take the time and he did a good job on it. That's the only thing I don't like on the app. But, at least underneath the word Sabbath, they could put the word enter so you would know to hit that. But when you hit that, then there it says live watch. And if I hit that, and let's see, then it's going to take me to, then it says live YouTube channel. And so when you hit that, and then it says just once with YouTube, and there it is right there. So we're live right there. There we are. See, that's how easy you can do it on the phone with the phone app, that quick. So you all check out the phone app. If you're not doing anything, get it, and you'll get a daily Bible verse every day. You'll get that. And let's see, what else do you get? You will also get, you can have the opportunity, if you like, if you like to donate to Bethel, to the ministry, you can do it through that right there. That goes directly to our treasurer. He keeps track, and that goes right to the ministry account right there. That's the Cash App. And this comes to Patreon. Now let me tell you something about Patreon. When you all go on Patreon, it helps a lot, okay? I had to recently get another monitor just for production for home because it's just difficult to run this the way I would like to run it without having that other monitor. And I was able to get that monitor. Let me show you what the production software looks like. I'll show that to you all real quick so you'll know what that looks like. Let me see if I can. There it goes. So I showed it the other night, but it's always good to show so you all can see what's going on. There it is right there. This whole thing is the production software. That's what I use. And when we do that, I'm able to do a lot of things, like get to the commercials and stuff like that. And of course, I have other things here in front of me that I'm able to do. And that's what that does. So we encourage you to give. I'm sorry, not that. Where's it at? Where is my? There it is, right here. Give right there. And you can give here. Now this comes directly to the Patreon account. And what I do is that builds up. I go and get things. Now, of course, if I need it expeditiously, Bethel, the ministry, always helps the social media ministry, which is a part of the main ministry. Send me an email sometimes. You got a question you want to ask, you can do that right there. And some nights we do call-ins, and you can do that right here, 1-833-423-8435. And when you call that number, I can now get you live right here on the channel. So that's what's great about that. So we want to just share that with you. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to get out of this demo mode and come back over here so we can do our Bible study tonight. Okay? Now, Bible study tonight. When you all come into the chat room, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button, and all like that. If you don't mind, hit that while we're in here. And I listened to that music the other day. It was just a little bit too loud last night, so I'm gonna take it down right there. Okay, so we have been getting into the parables. Thank you all for hitting that like button. We have been really getting into the parables and what things are going on. And we're going to get into some of those parables again tonight. And we're going to pick it back up. As I shared with you, one of the reasons why I got into this lesson this week is because I was talking to Elder Levette's mother, who I've known going back to our days living in Cleveland, Ohio. And we came up in the same ministry in Cleveland, Ohio on 79th Street and Donald. 79th and Donald. That's not too far from Superior and all like that, up in Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland is something else. I mean, it's cold up there. But we were having a good conversation, and we were talking about, somehow we got into the parables and what the parables meant. And when we got into that, it was good. So I decided, you know what, that's going to be my lesson for this week. I'm going to get into the parables. So we're going to dive over there into that right now. And last night we got into the 13th chapter. I really liked that lesson last night. I really did. We got into the parable of the sower of the seed is what we got into. And so tonight we're going to pick it right back up and get over there again. And this time we're going to pick it up in verse number 24. We're in St. John. I'm sorry, not John. We're in Matthew the 13th chapter. That's where we're going to be at tonight. Matthew the 13th chapter, okay? That's where we're going to rest and abide. As they say, we're going to rest and abide in that chapter tonight. Jonah Israel says, tell me about, I lived in Cleveland. Wow. Small world, Brother Jonah. Small world. So, the parables. Let's get into this. Another parable. You know, remember that Jesus spoke to them in parables according to Isaiah the prophet, as he prophesied that he would talk to them in parables. Is my microphone okay? Y'all let me know. Testing 1, 2. Let me know if my microphone is okay or not. I'm trying to get the best out of it, and I don't know if it's right there. Okay, that sounds a lot better. Okay, so Isaiah the prophet had already indicated that the Messiah would come speaking in parables. It was already prophesied. That's what he was going to do. He was going to come speaking in parables, and that he did do, and that he does. He still speaks in parables, and so that's how even the disciples asked, why do you speak in parables? Why do you speak in parables? And so we went over that last night in Isaiah to indicate that it doesn't matter. I can speak to them, but their eyes, they won't see. although they should see, but they make the decision not to see. Their hearts, they won't be open. Their ears, they won't receive it. And that's how we went into that parable last night about sowing the seed. The parable of the sower that sowed seed. We're going to get into a different aspect of it in the verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which soweth good seed in his field. Now, what this parable does, it lets you know what the kingdom, how the kingdom of heaven is going to be. That's what it does. It just lets you know what's going to take place in the kingdom of heaven. Now, this is important because if you understand that the kingdom of heaven is going to be right here on earth, it's going to be right here on earth. And what he's showing you is that in Zechariah, the 14th chapter, you'll find that in that 14th chapter, you'll find that when he returns and brings the saints back who are in that first resurrection, he sets up his kingdom. And when he sets up his kingdom, what we find happening is, okay, there we go. Testing 1, 2. I want to fix that. What we find happening when he sets up his kingdom, that you're going to have flesh and spirit that will cohabitate. Now somebody says, is that really going to happen? Yes, because Jesus is the first fruits of the resurrected. And some 40 more days or so, he was able to be seen and dwelt among the people. There were several occasions the door was shut and he just appeared in the midst of them. And that's what type of body you will have in that kingdom. So when the doors were shut, and that's why it says, and the doors were shut, and he appeared and said, peace be unto you. He can do that. He'll be able to do it just like that, brothers and sisters, with ease. It won't be no problem for the Messiah to do that, to just walk right in and say, peace be unto you. And that is definitely going to happen. Okay, that is a most definite event that's going to take place when we are spirit living in the kingdom. People can be talking and we can just appear right there in the midst of them and say, peace be unto you, or whatever salute that we give. Hey, how you all doing? However it would be, but we will be coexisting with flesh. And we'll be able to have that spiritual glorified body to do exactly what Jesus did while he was here on earth. And that's why these parables are important, because they're telling you how things are going to be in the kingdom. Now listen to this. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which soweth good seed in the field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. Verse 27. Now, before I go over there, I just want to show you something. Let me see if I can click on this here and show you something. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can. I want to go over here and share this part of the screen. Trying to figure out how I can do that. Here we go. See if I can unlock this and show you all this real quick. It was a picture that I was able to get. Well, that didn't work. Let me try it this way. And let me see. That didn't work either. Okay, well, that's not gonna work. So much for that, because that didn't work. But I wanted to show it to you anyway, but it didn't work. Okay. Let me see if I can figure that out. And now I gotta fix this all over again. That's okay. That's okay too. I wanted to show you a picture of wheat and tares. That's what I wanted to show you. I really want to show that to you all. Now what is going on? Oh, sorry about that. There we go. Let me put that right there. Let's just go like this. Okay, there we go. Let me bring it over that way. There we go. And let me make it just a little bit bigger. And let me hit that word that says lock. Okay. So I was going to show you some wheat and tares is what I was going to do, but it didn't come out right. I don't know why it didn't. I really wanted to show that to you all. There it is, right there. There it is. Okay. Look at that. I want you to look at the wheat and look at the tares. Look at the wheat and look at the tares. There's the wheat, and then the other ones. They look alike. They look very much alike. And this parable, we're going to bring it out in such a way. But take a look at it. Because they look very much alike. Now, I've seen stuff on farms and stuff like this, and you know, you got the wheat that is the good stuff, and you got the tares, which is the weeds, but they look very much like the tares. So let me move that out of the way. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which soweth good seed. Now, he's not just sowing seed, but good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, and it brought forth fruit, look at what happens. Then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the, okay, that sounds better there. I'm trying to, so the servants, now check this out. In verse 27, the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in the field? From whence then cometh it tares? We know you sow good seed. Where did these tares come from? You know, it's something to take into consideration, because remember, this parable is like the kingdom of heaven is like unto this. You sow good seed and you're giving good word, but then somebody comes right behind you and with every intent to sow tares. Look at this again. Look at that. Looks just alike. Looks just alike. This is intentional. This is intentional. You give people the word and somebody comes right behind you and they sow something else. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in the field? From whence then hath it tares? How did these tares get there? Look at verse number 28. He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Here's why. Take another look at that. They look just alike. And this is how Satan is. Satan is like, he will appear like a wolf, but he's in sheep's clothing. He's a wolf, but he comes in sheep's clothing. That's how deception works. This is why when I tell people, even when you're teaching, let the Bible do the speaking. Don't give commentary. Don't give commentary. Let the Bible do the speaking as much as possible, unless you're reading and balancing it off. Because we don't want to hear a lot without hearing the word in conjunction with it. That's how it should be. So listen to this. Let's take this out of the way again. So if he says, let them grow together, you got to, at some point, if there's casualty in war, you can go, and if you're not skillful, you can cause a lot of damage by just trying to take out the tares. But let it mature. Let it mature. So let's go look at that again in verse number 30. But let both grow together until the harvest. Let me go back to verse 29. But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. So, in verse 30, let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers. Okay? Now, the reapers are different from the servants. But the servants were able to see that there was a distinction. But the servants said, do you want us to go out there, and do you want us to separate them? You want us to go out there and root this up? But you want us to go out there and gather them up? And that's when he said in verse 29, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them. So the servants wasn't even skillful for this. This right here takes somebody that's going to be skillful, and that's why they're called reapers. Verse 30, let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares. Gather first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Now, you can take note of something here. Before the wheat is put in the barn, he's going to deal with the tares. And if the kingdom of heaven is likened to that, then you can rest assured that when he gathers the tares, they're going to be cast into the lake of fire before the wheat is put in the barn. Let's go back and look at this. Let's look at this again. And he says, let both grow together, verse 30, let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares. Gather together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. I want you to burn them. You all coming into the chat room. If you don't mind, hit that like button to build the algorithm up. I want you to burn them. Gather the wheat into my barn. I want to read the next parable. Because he talks about all of them together at the very end of this chapter. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it grows, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. We're going to get some understanding from that one in a second. Look at verse number 33. Another parable spake he unto them. The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven. Now listen to this. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, and hid in 3 measures of meal till the whole was leavened. Okay? So we got the kingdom of heavens like leaven. This woman, she hid in 3 measures of meal until the whole thing was leavened. Now look at this in verse number 34. All these spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. So now, some of these things have been kept secret, but now he is revealing it. Look at verse number 36. Then Jesus sent the multitude away, and went into the house. And his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares in the field. Explain that one to us. Because remember, when you grow them in the field, they look just alike. And if you don't get skillful individuals that knows the difference, you may take up some of the wheat along with the tares. But what I want you to do is leave the wheat, gather the tares first, bundle them, and burn them. And once you do that, you know everything else left is the wheat. So they said, can you explain unto us the parable of the tares of the field? Verse 37, he answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed, listen to this, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. Now check this out. The enemy that sowed them, that sowed the tares, the children of the wicked one, is the devil. The harvest that he says, don't you all mess with anything, let everything grow together. When the reapers come, I will have them gather the tares first and burn them. And then I'll put the wheat in the barn. So let's pick this up. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is a representation of the end of the world. Check this out. And the reapers are the angels. That's who the reapers are, the angels, because they're skillful. As therefore the tares are gathered, is through them the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. Before he sets up his kingdom, this is how things are going to be in the end of this world. Check this out. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. What's he going to do? And shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And this is a phenomenal parable, because what he's simply saying is that things are going to be taken out. Oh yeah, it's going to be taken out. It's going to be taken out. Again in verse 44, again the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, what does he do? He hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. When you get a good location, you sell everything that you got, and you go buy that field. That's what the kingdom of heaven is like, unto treasure hid in a field. Once you know your treasure is in that field and it's there, the which when a man hath found, he hideth. I'm not going to let y'all know, I know something's hid in that field. And for joy thereof, he goeth and selleth all that he has, because he knows there's a treasure in that field. So what does he do? He buys the field. Everything that he sold for the purpose of getting the field, everything he sold is not as valuable as the treasure in the field. So some people may say, well, why are you buying that field? What are you going to do? I mean, you're selling your house, you're selling everything, you're selling everything that you got, and you're going to go buy that field? Because he knows that there's a treasure in the field. So what does he do? He buys the field. Look at verse number 45. And again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant, man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. It was worth it. I want you to get the analogy of this. I'm seeking goodly pearls, and I found one pearl of great price. This pearl is worth a lot of money. I'm going to sell all that I have, because this person, this merchant man, knows the value of that great price of that one pearl. He knows it. And he knows, I'm going to sell everything I got. I'm going to buy that pearl, because I know that pearl is going to bring forth a lot more than what I'm selling to put my money together to buy it. Verse 47. And again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea, and gathered of every kind. Got everything. You know how in the sea you might get everything in the net. Gathered of every kind, which when it was full, he threw to shore, and sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So he throws this net into the sea, gathered up all types of things. But when he sits down, he gathers the good, put that into the vessels, but the bad, he just threw it right back away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever, listen to this, the wicked from the just. Brothers and sisters, it's going to happen. The wicked will be severed from the just. Look at this in verse number 50. and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. I'm going to come and explain something. I don't know if you all got it, but I'm going to come and explain something. But before we go, I want you to listen to this ad again on our phone app, and I'll be right back. So here's what I want to see if you picked up before I show that scripture. Listen to what he's saying. I want you to grab the wheat, leave it, grab the tares, bundle it up, and burn it. I want you to see if you pick up something. I want you to go, and I want you to sever the wicked from the just and cast them into the furnace of fire. There should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. I don't know if you caught that, but I want you to get it. And I'm going to share that with you. Because there are people who teach that when you die, you either go to heaven or hell. Right there and there. Right there and there. You either go to heaven or hell. Once you die, the decision is made that you either go to, if you died a good person, you go to heaven. And if you didn't die a good person, you go straight to hell. And you're burning right now. You're burning up. This is what some people teach, and some people believe that. They really do. I'm sorry. This does not match that. What we just read doesn't match that doctrine. It don't match it. So when we go back and look at it, again the kingdom, in verse 47, again the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they threw it to the shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from the unjust. Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to go through that net. You're going to look at it. Well, this is just, this is unjust. This is just, this is unjust. And they're going to separate the wicked from the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire, meaning the unjust. There should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Now look at verse number 51. Jesus said unto them, Have ye understood all these things? They say unto him, Yea, Lord. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old. And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these parables, he departed thence, and when he was come into his own country, he taught them in the synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished and said, Whence hath this man wisdom? Where did this wisdom come from? And these mighty works? Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, his brethren James and Joseph, and Simon and Judas? Not the same Judas. And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then hath this man all these things? And they were offended in him. But Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house. And he did not many works there because of their unbelief. Now let me show you something. When we look at these scriptures, I want to go over here to Isaiah. You know what? Let's go to Revelations first. Revelations. I may not go to Isaiah. I'll go to Revelations. 19th chapter. I think I'm going to start at here we go, 20th chapter. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed for a little season. I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. This is talking about the ones that are in the first resurrection, brothers and sisters. Because verse 5 says, but the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. Why? On such the second death have no power, but they shall be priests, talking about those that are in the first resurrection. They're going to be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. That's talking about when the trumpet sounds, the dead in Christ shall rise first, and then those of us that are remained shall be caught up to meet him in the air, and we're going to live and reign with Christ 1,000 years. Right here on this earth. So when he says the kingdom of heaven is like these parables that he names, it's like a man sowing seed. It's like a sower who sows good seed, but yet the devil comes and he sows something else. But don't worry about it. Let it all grow together, because when the reapers come, which are the angels, I will let them separate them. I will let them gather the tares first and then gather the wheat, but after they burn the tares. They got to burn them. Well, let's go over here. Let's go. We're going to come back to this Revelation. We're going to go to the book of Zechariah. The book of Zechariah. We're going to come back to the 20th chapter, but I want to show you how things are going to be. Let's go to Zechariah. And we're going to go to the 14th chapter of Zechariah. Let's go to the 13th chapter. 13th chapter. Let's pick it up in verse number 1. In that day there should be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and uncleanness. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land. Now, what he's letting you know is this is how his kingdom is going to be set up. This is how he's going to govern and start to rule. And they shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. All those things that is just not unto the Lord is going to go. And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of the Lord. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesieth. It shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, every one of his vision which he hath prophesied. Neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive, but he shall say, I am no prophet, I am an husbandman. For man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. And one shall say unto him, What are these wounds in thine hand? Then he shall answer, Those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, and the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn mine hand upon the little ones. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. I want you to get this. And I will bring the third part through fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. For they shall call on my name, I will hear them, I will say, This is my people. And they shall say, The Lord is my God. Now what's happening here in that last day, he's letting you know how he's going to come back, how the stage is going to be set, and how you're going to be able to tell then that the prophets that have been lying, they're not, because they're teaching you you're going to heaven. That's one of the lies you're going to catch them in right there. You're going to catch them in that lie. Because when he returns and you're not going to heaven, that's going to be a catch in the lie. And then, of course, his saints are going to be in the first resurrection with him when he returns. But the mother and father going to say, man, this boy can't say he no preacher. He done got this thing all wrong. Let's go back up. Verse 4. It shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, every one of his vision. I thought this and I thought that. This is why I said the other day, when you get a dream and you're going to get on YouTube and tell people what your dream is and what the Lord showed you, and this is getting ready to go down and the Lord is getting ready to come, and he told me this is how he's going to come, and I had a dream and the Lord took me and he showed me how heaven is going to be. No. That wasn't God. No, he didn't take you to know heaven and show you how things are going to be in heaven, when we already know he's coming here. So what did you see? Some people say, I died and I went to heaven and man, it was so peaceful, and I saw my grandmother, I saw this, I saw that, And I saw relatives that were unborn. I've never seen them before. And I saw them all. The Lord showed it to me. It's a peaceful place where we're going. We got a problem because those visions and those prophecies or that teaching is not in conjunction with the Word of God. It don't match Bible. It don't match Bible. It's got to match Bible. Peter on the rooftop had a dream. And Peter saw all manner. Can we go there real quick? I'm going to come back. Let's go over here to Acts. See, on the way of learning something, you can always go someplace. You can always go someplace with these stories. Let's go to Acts, the book of Acts. Let's pick it up over here. Let's pick it up in verse number 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up onto the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. That's 12 o'clock. And he became very hungry and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he would have eaten, but they didn't have the food ready. He fell into a trance. Look at verse number 11. And saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet, knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise. Now remember, this is just a trance that he's having, brothers and sisters. There came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. That's right there in verse number 13. Look at verse number 14. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. He's never done it. Why? Because he knows that doesn't line up with Bible. Look at verse number 15. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, thou shalt not, what God has cleansed, that call not thou common. This was done thrice or three times, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now listen to this. Look at verse number 17. Because he was told in his dream, Arise, Peter, kill and eat. But he says, I have never eaten anything common or unclean. But remember, the angel says, listen, what God hath, listen to this. Verse 15, the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. And he's trying to say, well, wait a minute. What am I getting out of this dream? What is this dream? This is a weird dream. That's what Peter was saying. My God, this is a weird dream. Man, I'm having some, and it was just 12 o'clock. And he fell into a trance. He said, man, what does this mean? Listen to this. Verse number 17. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, because he doubted. He said, wait a minute, I don't know what this thing means. Lord, you got to show me what this dream means. Amen. You got to show me. It's just like somebody have a dream and they say, I had a dream that I was robbing the bank. So I think right now the Lord wanted me to go rob the bank. So I went to go rob the bank because he showed me in the dream that I was robbing the bank. That ain't of God. You got to ask the Lord what that dream means. You got to seek and you got to get further guidance. That's like if you have a dream and the dream tells you that you sitting there and you're doing some sort of thing that's contrary to the word of God, and you wake up in the middle of the night and say, man, I don't know what that dream meant. I think the Lord is trying to tell me to do something. No, your job is to find out. Let me come back, because I'm bringing this into our lesson tonight. While Peter doubted in himself, verse 17, what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made an inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate, and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, lodged there. And listen to this in verse number 19. While Peter thought on the vision, listen to this, the Spirit, as the angel of the Lord, said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore are ye come? And they said, Cornelius the centurion, who's a Gentile, a just man, and one that feareth God and of good report, among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by an holy angel to send for thee into this house, and to hear words of thee. Then called he them in and lodged them, and on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. And on the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for him, and had called together his kinsmen and near friends. So he called together everybody else. Because remember, when you go back up here, there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band. He was a devout man, one that feareth God and all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always. So why is this Italian soldier so devout? Because if you remember over in the book of Matthew, when they were guarding, the soldiers were guarding the tomb, they was there to make sure that it stayed secured, but the angels of the Lord came and smote them with blindness and knocked them down. And then the Messiah resurrected, and that freaked them out. They knew, wait a minute. Here we are casting lots on this man, and this right here happened? Man, this is something right here. They became believers. Brothers and sisters, that would make a believer out of you. And when he had looked on him, he was afraid and said, what is it, Lord? And he said unto him, thy prayers and thy alms are come up before a memorial before God. Now send men to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose name is Sir Peter. Told him where he was going to be at and all like that. So I'm going to skip all the way down, because Peter goes there and he goes into the house and he goes with these guys. Now you notice that when you read up here, it just said, this was verse 16, this was done 3 times, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now when Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate. Notice right now, we're not being told that it's 3 men. This is parable teaching, by the way. This is a good way to look at this from a parable perspective. Notice it doesn't say how many men right now went to the house. If y'all see that, put a 1 in the chat room. I want you to look at that. If you notice what I'm saying, put a 1 in the chat room. Look at this. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius made inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate. Again, right here, it's not into verse number 19 do we find out, while Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise, because Peter is on the rooftop and people are sent and they're at the gate. And they're asking for Peter. And while he thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Now check this out. It gets better. It gets better. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Okay, so we read where he goes into Peter's house. They lodged with him and they left out for the next day. Look at verse 25. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshiped him. But Peter took him up, saying, stand up, I myself also am a man. Now, the reason why Cornelius did this is because the angel told him, go down to the tanner's house and ask for one named Peter. Now, when you send men, 3 men, to go down there and find him, and they come back with an individual whose name is Peter, you'll fall to the ground too. Peter said, I myself am a man. Verse 27. And as he talked with them, he went in and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, you know how listen to this, you know that how it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation, but God hath showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Now, my dear confused brother, I'm right about it. He uses this to say that you can eat anything you want to. Nope. This is like that parable that we read. This is like Zechariah the 13th chapter. They prophesying, and somebody's going to say, you didn't prophesy the right thing. A prophecy is teach. You didn't teach the right thing. You didn't teach this thing right. Let's keep going. Verse 28, and he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or to come unto one of another nation, but God hath showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Therefore came I unto you without gainsaying. As soon as I was sent for, I asked therefore, for what intent ye have sent for me. So I want to know, what is it that you want? Because when these guys came, the Spirit told me, Spirit of the Lord told me way up here in this verse, what did the Spirit of the Lord tell him? While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get down and go with them, doubting nothing. So listen to this. Peter in verse 29 says, I came to you without even waiting, without hesitation. As soon as I was sent for, I asked therefore, for what intent have you sent for me? Look at verse number 30. Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour. I've been fasting for the past 4 days to this very hour right now. And at the ninth hour, I prayed in my house And behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, thy prayer is heard, and thy alms are had in remembrance in the sight of God. Send therefore to Joppa, and call hither Simon, whose surname is Peter. He is lodged in the house of one Simon a tanner by the seaside, who, when he cometh, shall speak unto thee. And listen to what he says in verse number 33. Immediately therefore I sent to thee, and thou hast well done that thou art come. Immediately I sent for you, and thou hast well done that thou art come. Now therefore are we all here present before God to hear all things that are commanded thee of God. On the way of learning something, this is why Israel must be the light to the nations. This is why the nations will be sent to Israel, because unto Israel were given the oracles. We read that over in Romans. We're not going there, but that's what we read. The answers, the oracles, was given to Israel. And so therefore Cornelius, the angel didn't teach Cornelius, who was a Gentile. The angel told Cornelius where to go at, because Israel is a light. Israel has the oracles. Israel is a light to the nations. Listen to this. Now therefore are we all here present before God to hear all things that are commanded of thee. Look at verse number 34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth, I perceive that God is no respect of persons, but in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. Now this is nothing new. This is nothing new, brothers and sisters, because remember, the law is the same law that is for Israel is the same law for Gentiles. But the Gentiles, the difference is that the Gentiles were the ones that were coming seeking to be with Israel. Israel did not go and seek Gentiles. Gentiles came to seek Israel. And in essence, that is what is happening here, because Cornelius is told to go send for him, and he's coming. He says, I'm going, and I'm not doubting anything. Verse 36. But the word which God sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Jesus Christ, he is Lord of all. That word I say, ye know, which was published throughout all Judea, and from Galilee, after the baptism which John preached, how God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Ghost and with power, who went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil, for God was with him. Now I'm going to skip down a little bit. I want to show you something. Look at verse number 11. And the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles also received the word of God. And when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, they that were of the circumcision contended with him, saying, Thou wentest in to men uncircumcised and did eat with them. Now usually, again, Gentiles come to Israel. Whoever wants to sojourn with Israel. The same law that's for Israel is the same law for those that want to sojourn with Israel. But they're questioning Peter because they heard that Peter went to their house. Listen to this. Verse 3, and saying, Thou wentest in to men uncircumcised and didst eat with them? But look at verse number 4. But Peter rehearsed the matter from the beginning. He he knew I better get my story together. And expounded it by order unto them. He gave it to them right in order, saying, listen, in verse number 5, listen, I was in Joppa. I was in the city of Joppa praying, and I was in a trance, and I saw a vision. Certain vessel descended as it had been a great sheet, let down from heaven by 4 corners, and it came even to me. Upon the which when I had fastened mine eyes, when I looked at it, I considered, and I'm trying to see what was going on, and saw 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And I heard a voice saying unto me, Arise, Peter, slay and eat. Listen to verse number 8. But I said, Not so, Lord, for nothing common or unclean hath at any time entered into my mouth. Why? Peter don't eat pork. Peter don't eat shrimp. Peter don't eat lobster. Peter don't eat bats. Peter don't eat mice. Peter don't eat nothing unless it's clean. Look at verse number 9. But the voice answered me again from heaven, What God hath cleansed, thou call not thou common. What I have cleansed, that call not thou common. Listen to this. 10. And this was done 3 times, and all were drawn up again into heaven. It came down, it went up. It came down, it went up. It was drawn up into heaven again. And verse number 11. And behold, immediately there were 3 men already come into the house where I was, sent from Caesarea unto me. And the Spirit bade me go with them, doubting nothing. Moreover, these 6 brethren accompanied me, and we entered into the man's house. And he showed us how he had seen an angel in his house, which stood and said unto him, Send men to Joppa and call for Simon, whose surname is Peter, who shall tell thee words whereby thou and all the house shall be saved. So Peter said, I went. It's true. They didn't come to me. I went to them. But here's why I went to them. Because I had a dream 3 times a sheet came down and told me to eat. And I said, no, I've never eaten anything common or unclean. And then by that time, when my dream was coming to its wrap, there was a knock, and the angel of the Lord told me to go with them, doubting nothing. And it happened to be 3 men. Those 3 men represented the 3 sheep. And I knew right there and then, I better go. And I went, brothers. I went. I want to let you know I went. That's why I went to his house. You want to know why I went to his house? I went to his house because of the dream. Now, you know, I have to bring this out. Nowhere in that story does it say he changed the dietary law. Am I right about it? I know I am. Well, I'm not right about it. The scripture's right about it, because the scriptures didn't tell us anything different. So it is what it is. Yeah, they say that they say, Brother Carl says, Pastor, I showed other ministries this, and they still say it's about food, not men. Yeah, it's just amazing that people, this goes back, and I want to bring it back to Zechariah. Let me go back to Zechariah, the 13th chapter. Zechariah, this is why I went here in the first place. This is why I went here. Verse 2, it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. And I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. And it shall come to pass that when they shall yet prophesy, they're going to teach, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of the Lord. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesied. What's going to happen? And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, every one of his vision, when he hath prophesied. Because what people do is they get ideas and they don't check them with the word. Peter didn't change nothing. Peter didn't change the dietary law. He didn't do anything. He stuck with the plan. He simply went over because they were seeking him. And the angels told them where to go find Peter. And Peter, if he never had the vision, he would have not gone. He would have never gone. But the Lord took him to the rooftop. He was hungry. He fell into a trance. And the Lord had already been to Cornelius' house, told him where to go at, told him who to ask for, who to seek for. And while they were knocking on the door, all three men, Peter understood his dream, his trance. He understood it. And he knew, he probably said, man, I didn't know what that dream meant. I had a dream, man, I was eating some pig. And somebody would say, well, you know what? I understand what you're saying about that dietary law, but I had a dream I was eating pig. And I think the Lord is just showing me that it's okay to eat pig. No, 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 no. Your dreams cannot contradict scriptures. What you read and what you've been taught, if you've been taught that you're dying and going to heaven, if it don't match the scriptures, drop the doctrine. If you've been taught that when you die, a decision is made right there and then. Either you're going to heaven or either you're going to hell. And people are in hell burning right now. No, brothers and sisters, that does not match the parables that we just read in the 13th chapter of Matthew. The kingdom of heaven is like unto this. I sowed good seed, and the devil came and sowed bad seed. Let them grow together. How long? Until the end, when things are right. And gather the tares first, bundle them together and burn them. What do you do with the wheat? Gather it and put it in the barn. What is the barn? The barn is the kingdom. It's when you become spirit. You have to understand how this is going to flow. And this takes place. I'm gonna go back to Revelation and show you when that takes place. But he shall say, I am no prophet, in verse number 5. I am an husbandman, for he taught me to keep cattle from my youth. And one shall say unto him, what are these wounds in thine hands? Then he shall answer, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. I'm going to skip down to chapter 14, verse 1. Listen to this. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh. That means that's the end, people. The day of the Lord. Don't let nobody tell you that the day of the Lord or the Lord's day in Revelation is Sunday. It's not. It don't match scripture. It don't match. The day of the Lord and the Lord's day is when he comes. That's his day. That's when the Lord is going to come. Has nothing to do with Sunday at all. Listen to this. And if you want to know when the Lord is going to come, it's going to be equivalent to the start of the Sabbath. It's going to be equivalent to the start of the 7,000-year millennium. Or the millennium is 1,000 years, but it's the 7,000-year time period. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, the houses rifled, the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations. What nations? The same nations that he brought against Jerusalem. He brings them against Jerusalem to clear Jerusalem out. Jerusalem is going to be cleared out, brothers and sisters. And then after he clears it out, then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of the battle. And what's going to happen? His feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives. We read that over in Acts. Why stand ye here gazing? This same Jesus you see going up, he's going to come right back here on this Mount of Olives. And that's where he's coming to. I'm going to skip down. Verse number 5. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azel. Yea, ye shall flee like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with him. How do we know when this is? It's because the saints are coming with him. When does the saints come with him? You got to go back and read that in Revelation. We're going to go over there and read it. That's when the saints are going to come with him. Listen to this in verse number 6. And it shall come to pass in that day. It's not going to be, the light shall not be clear. It's not going to be dark. But it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord. It's not day. It's not night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. And it shall be in that day, and during his reign, living waters are going to come forth from Jerusalem. Half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter it shall be. It's not going to be dark. It's not going to be light. It's not going to be day. It's not going to be night. It's not going to be winter. It's not going to be summer. It's just going to be that perfect day. That perfect day. Listen to this. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day there shall be one Lord, and his name one. All the land shall be turned as a plain from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, and it shall be lifted up, and the inhabited in her place, from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate unto the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananeel unto the king's wine presses. And men, look at verse number 11, men, flesh shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. Men, flesh, because we know that already that when he comes, the saints are going to be with him. When you come, there's a way that you get to him. Thessalonians says that the dead in Christ shall rise first. At the last trump, the dead in Christ shall rise first, and then those that remain shall be caught up to meet him in the air. And then we're going to be coming back. Why are we going to meet him in the air? Because as he is descending, we're going to meet him, those that are in the first resurrection, and we're going to be changed. In Corinthians 15 chapter, it says, this mortal shall put on immortality, and the corrupt shall put on incorruption. Means the grave, the corrupt in the grave, because your body's corrupt. So therefore, you're not in heaven. If you were in heaven, why do you need to come up out of your grave? And if you already in hell, we're going to read something. Burning, we're going to read something. That's why it says, you read these parables, they tell you how things are going to be. So the saints are going to come with him. Let's pick it up again right here. In verse number 11, men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction. So why is there not going to be any more utter destruction? Because when you read the parables, Satan is going to be bound 1,000 years when you read that over in Revelation. And Jerusalem is going to be safely inhabited. Listen to this. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people. Listen, you mean the people that have fought against Jerusalem? Their flesh shall consume away while they stand on their feet, and their eyes shall be consumed in their holes. You mean, who are these people? This is that army, that same army. Their tongue is going to be consumed away in their mouth. Listen to this right here. And it shall come to pass in that day, this is future, brothers and sisters, that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of the heathen round about them shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel and great abundance. And so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, the camel, the ass, and all the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague. And look at the verse number 16. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem, you mean there's going to be people left that he doesn't kill? Absolutely. Because the slain of the Lord is going to be many. Over in Isaiah 56, when you read, when the Lord returns, listen to this, and shall go up from year to year. Everybody that's left, because the earth is going to continue to multiply itself among the flesh. Those that are left. That's where it says right there, those that are left of all the nations. They got to go up from year to year to worship the Lord, to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and they're going to have to keep the Feast of the Tabernacles, the same tabernacles they say that Jesus said that you don't have to do them no more. You have to watch to make sure that it says, I sowed good seed, and somebody came right behind and sowed something else. Listen to this. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth, that's in verse number 17, there's not going to be no rain. Because we've already read that there's going to be a river and water's going to come out from one side to the next, and that water is right here. And if you don't come up, it should come, where we at in verse number 17, and it should be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. You mean people are going to have a choice? Yes, brothers and sisters, they're going to have a choice in that kingdom. Although Satan is bound, they're going to have a choice. Every decision that they make is going to be on their own accord. And everybody's not going to always make the right decision. But there's only one Lord. There's only one God. There's only one law. But it's freedom. But there's going to be peace on earth. But you still have to make that decision. And if you don't, you simply get no water. You get no rain. Verse 17. It shall come to pass that who will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts. Even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there should be the plague. That's the plague. That's the punishment. That's the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. That's how it's going to be, people. That's how it's going to be. Listen to this. Let's go back over here to the book of Revelations. th chapter. Let's go back over here and look at this. Verse 5. So now you got the saints that are with him, and here it says they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. In other words, we are a part of his kingdom. We are part of his kingdom. And then in verse number 6, he even says, blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power. That's the death that comes at the end of the 1,000-year millennium after the great white throne judgment. We'll get to that in a minute. But those that are going to be in that first resurrection, we're going to be priests of God and of Christ, and we're going to reign with him 1,000 years. This is getting good. But remember, let's go back over here to Matthew. Let's go back over here to Matthew, the 13th chapter. Let's go back over here and pick some of this up. Verse 44. Pick up in verse 45. The kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hid in the field, that which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof he goeth and sell all that he hath, and buy the field. And again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he hath found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, in verse 47, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full they drew to shore and set down and gathered the good into the vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from the just, and they shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Jesus said unto them, have ye understood all these things? And they said unto him, yea, Lord. Skip down. Verse 53. Came to pass that when Jesus had taught them these parables, they said, who is this guy? All of this, brothers and sisters, is that we've read over these past couple of days. I want you to look at it. Look at verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a man that soweth good seed in his field. That while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among them and went his way. This is how it's going to be like unto the kingdom. Now, let's go to Revelation. Let me show this to you. Let's go over to the book of Revelation. Let's go back to the 20th chapter. Listen to this. Verse number 7. When the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his season, out of his prison, and shall go forth and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth. So you mean Satan is going to be bound when the Almighty sets up in Zechariah the 14th chapter, and the saints come with him, and they're going to be kings, they're going to be priests of God and of Christ, and they're going to reign with him 1,000 years in verse number 6. But when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan is going to be loose. He's only been bound for 1,000 years. Then he's going to be loose out of his prison. And all that good word that is sown, here comes Satan right behind it. You gather up your treasure, here comes Satan right behind it. You got the wheat and the Satan coming right behind it. He's coming. Even during this time period when the Messiah is set up, this is what's going to happen. Listen to this. And shall go out in verse number 8 to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle. You mean he's going to convince people? Yes, he's going to convince people during the millennium, because they're going to be getting frustrated. Man, we got one Lord, we got one law. Man, I'm tired of going up to this feast. I mean, really, he's going to convince people, let's go up against the city, because that's where those saints are living. They just comes up, and when y'all are just sitting around and they just say, how y'all doing? You got the door shut and here they come. And they're teaching, they're guiding. That's what the priests of God in Christ do. They're teaching. We're judging the world. You're judging, you're teaching. When you're judges and you're the saints of God and you come back with him and he's making you priests, and you're going to reign with him 1,000 years, you are part of the government of Christ during that 1,000 years. And Satan is going to convince those people, let's go take them. Listen to this. Verse number 9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city. But guess what's going to happen? Fire came down from God out of heaven. It comes down from the Father out of heaven, and it devoured them. And the devil that deceived them, guess what? Was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Everybody else is gone, by the way. But check this out. Check this out. Check this out. And I saw, in verse 11, a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. Well, where are these people? These are the people who were not in the first resurrection, because now we're saints. These are those that they were not worthy enough. Apparently they didn't die in Christ, and they was not a part of the first resurrection. That's why it says, blessed and holy is he. Let's go back up and read that. Blessed and holy is he that have part of that first resurrection. Right there in verse number 6. Blessed and holy is he that have part in the first resurrection. On such as second death have no power. Because we're going to be priests of God and of Christ, and we're going to reign with him 1,000 years. But then in verse number 11, here's where the second death comes in. Because once you're in the first resurrection, you don't have to worry about it. You are part of the glorified spiritual family of the Most High. You are part of the Elohim. Listen to this. I saw a great white throne, and him that sat upon it, from whose face the earth and the heaven were, and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open. What books? The scriptures. And then he says, and another book was open. Well, what is that book? Which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books. What books? The scriptures. According to what? Their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in them. And death, listen to this, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. That means the graves. And they were judged every man according to their works. This, when it says death and hell, this is not, some people think that you're going, this should knock out that doctrine that says, well, you know, when you die, you go to heaven or to hell. And then if you're not in hell, you're in the grave. The lake of fire is different when the scripture says hell. Hell is not where the Roman Christian Catholic Church teaches that Satan is down there barbecuing people. It don't make any sense that you're going to be already there and then he's going to turn around and judge you and bring you out of hell to judge you and put you back in the hell that you already in. I mean, if you, that don't make any sense. It don't make any sense. That doctrine is a fallacy. That's why Zechariah 13 says the mother and the father are going to look at the preacher when they prophesied and said, you ain't telling the truth. Wasn't telling the truth then, you ain't telling the truth now. Because this thing here is nowhere like you said it was going to be. Grandmama looking down. Listen to this. And the dead were judged out of those things. Let's pick it up in verse number 12. I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened. The books that were opened is the scriptures. You're going to be judged according to these scriptures, brothers and sisters. The same thing you judged out of today. That's why in Revelations it says, who are these? These that have kept the faith. These are they that washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb. These are they that have kept the commandments. That's who we are. If you're not keeping it now, trust me, you will not be in that first resurrection. Verse 13, the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to the works. You're going to grab the wheat, you're going to grab the tares first, and you're going to bundle them, and you're going to burn them. The wheat, we're going to put it in the barn. Listen to this. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. In other words, there's no more death now. There's no more dying. There's no more graves. Because that's the second death. And look at, in fact, it says, this is the second death. And this is why it says, blessed and holy is he that have part of the first resurrection, whom the second death have no power. Once you're in the first resurrection, you've made it. You're a part of the family of God. You cannot die. You're not going to be judged. You're going to be the judging. And then where it says, there are any of you that have a matter against any of your brother and sister, that you can't sit and resolve this matter. Know ye not that ye should judge the earth and even angels? Somebody said, we're going to judge angels? Yeah, them angels that were a third, you're going to be cast in sentence on Satan and his angels. Because you're part of spirit now too. This is the second death. Listen to this in verse number 15. Whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Because remember, there's two books open. You got the book, which is the scriptures. You're going to be judged out of that. And if your name don't get written in the book of life, guess what? You're going straight to the lake of fire. That's why in Matthew it says, in all of those parables, the kingdom of heaven is like unto this. Let the wheat grow with the tares. Somebody's going to come and they're going to plant the seed, and somebody's going to come. Some's going to fall on good ground. Some's going to get it. Some's not going to get it. Some is going to grow up. It's going to be choked out. I mean, he's telling us what things and how things are going to be. And then in verse 21, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth would pass away, and there was no more sea. Now here comes the Father's kingdom. And I, John, saw the holy city. This is after the 1,000 years, brothers and sisters. This is after Satan has been cast into the lake of fire. There is no more death. There is no more dying. It's all over. The only people here now is flesh. This is the 8th day. This is after the 1,000 years. This is on the morrow after the Sabbath. I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, come down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, meaning it's on earth. And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. Those that in that second resurrection, they're happy because they made it. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. Why? For the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. He said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. So brothers and sisters, that's how things are going to be. That's how things are going to be. Listen to this. Listen to this. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, the unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone. This is the second death. So that's what's going to happen, brothers and sisters. That's how things are going to go down. Listen to this in verse number 10. And he carried me away in the spirit, in my mind, to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious. He goes on and gives this wonderful description. And that's the city. And he tells us all about it. Read that for yourself sometimes. Just read it. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. The whole story is wonderful. Read that. Coach, somebody says, when Satan is released, will you be able to see him? If you are spirit, yes. And remember, because you're going to be doing the judging, and he's going to be cast into the lake of fire. Absolutely. Very good question, Lady J. Satan ain't going to be no more. And remember, those in the second resurrection, Satan is already, by the time the great white throne judgment happens, Satan is already being cast into the lake of fire where the false prophet and the beast are. So they already there. And Satan is going to be cast there too. So that's it. He's done. So by the time the second resurrection comes, that Satan is already into the lake of fire. He's already there. He's the least in the kingdom. He's a part of the least. He got a bad address in the kingdom. Bad address in the kingdom. He's got a bad address. That's the address you don't want to have. I have to explain that to you all one day when somebody says, Well, you know, the Bible says if you don't do this, you'll be least in the kingdom. Now, least in the kingdom is the lake of fire. Okay, that's least in the kingdom. You don't want to be least in the kingdom. You want to be great in the kingdom. Had a good time with you all tonight. A really good time. Let me check something real quick. Don't y'all go anywhere. I'm going to, y'all check out this phone app. I'll be right back. Alrighty. You know, Sister Hadara, I want y'all to check her out, because what happened, we were able to get Sister Hadara. Her music can be found on TuneIn's. She's got some great stuff. Sister Hadara's got some great stuff. You all check it out. We're gonna play a little bit of that, and just really check what she is doing out, because she's got some great stuff. And we're gonna play a little bit of her tonight, getting up out of here, and because we got a good playlist. I'm gonna bring all 3 of her songs in here tonight. Because again, she's got some very, very, very good stuff, and I want to get into that. So we're gonna play her. I'm gonna look in the chat room. She also have a bad phone number, 1-800 Lake of Fire. Yes. Brother Jonah, how you doing? Sister Coach, Sister Lady J, Sister Tara. Brother Carl, how you doing? Area, how you doing? Glad to see you in the room tonight. Franklin, glad to see you here tonight. Brother Harold Ferguson, how you doing, my brother? I gotta have Brother Harold on the show, because he and his wife are doing something that is going to be beneficial to all. It's a ministry that they have. They're going to be working that right out of Bethel, but it's their ministry. It's something that the Almighty gave them, and I got to have him on one time just to talk about it. He and his wife. Brother Rick, how you doing? Sister KT, how you doing? I hope everything's going well over there in St. Mary's. Sister KT and family there. That's our Bethel family up in St. Mary's, Georgia, near Sister Queen Cleo over in Savannah, Georgia. Soon as this COVID thing dies down, that is going to be one of my first stops. I'm going up there to just have a Sabbath service with them. Brother Jonah, there you go. Sister Tierra, Brother Mark P. All of you all that are here tonight, so glad that you're here. Queen, thank you for coming in, because Sister Linda Vickers, God bless you. Sister Marie, where's she at? Where's Sister Marie at? Well, I'll bring her back. How you doing, Sister Linda Vickers? And we're still keeping, as you indicated, your prayer requests. We're still keeping everything in prayer. There's Sister Marie, Sister Cheryl Hepburn, and Sister Queen Cleo. All of you all that are here with us tonight, don't forget to hit that like button. We're going to be playing. I found another song. I love this song with 3 Before Joy, and then we're going to go into, don't forget to add yes. Oh, you want the Israel of God High Priest? Yes. Okay, we'll add them to the list also. That is one of my favorites. I thought maybe y'all might have been tired of hearing that. I've got some good musical artists that we've been communicating with. We're going to be bringing a lot more artists to the table. I'm going to bring 3 songs, 4 or 5. We're gonna end real good tonight. We're gonna give y'all a nice little playlist tonight. We're gonna bring it out with 3 Before Joy, and they're gonna be singing a song, and then we're gonna bring Sister Hadara. Her information is going to be there where you all can check her out. Go and she's got several pieces of things out. So that's what we're going to be there. Just found out there is an IOG in Birmingham, Alabama. Yes, Brother Carl. I thought I shared that with you because I think you're in, I forgot what part of Alabama. Let me know what part of Alabama. You told me when we spoke on the phone. But as soon as the COVID-19 is over, they're going to be holding service. And please go over there, tell them that Pastor Johnson sent you. You must go over there. You'll have a good time. Good. They just purchased a new place, a very nice big place over there in Birmingham. Go over there and check it out. Once this COVID-19 lifts, all the doors of IOG will be back open again. So go over there and check it out. Marion, that's right, Marion. I don't know how far that is from Birmingham. Let me know how far that away that is while you're there in the chat room. I'm just curious how far away that is. So you all check out Sister Hadara. She's a good, she is a guitarist, pianist. She's good. She's awesome. And I have another young lady that's in England. She just put out her stuff. I'm waiting to get a response from her to also add her to the playlist. So we got quite a bit. 80 miles. You know, when you get up in the morning, that's an hour drive, brother. That's all that is. I get in my car, and when I drive 80 miles an hour, I'm going to get there in 1 hour. So that is almost like a 45-minute drive for me, because I push it a little bit. I push it just a little bit. So, yes, I love that song too, my brother. We're going to end. So we got a good playlist. We got about 5 songs, 3 of which is going to come from our new artist, because I want her to be exposed to you all, and I want to give her some promotion. So you move to McCalla. So that's going to be 45 minutes. Good. You'll get there. Good. You got to go. You got to go. You will enjoy yourself. You really will. Tomorrow night, we'll be back here tomorrow night. We'll be here Friday night for Bible study. Let me just share with you our information. Got it. There it is right there. If you want to give to this ministry, you can do it right there at Bethel House of God. That's our Cash App. That is our Patreon. That's our 800 number. And that's our email address. So if you want to just shoot me an email and say hello, you can do that. If you want to call and just say hello, you can do that as well. So that being said, we're going to get out of here. Peace and blessings to all of you all, and we will talk soon. God bless you.
Shema, 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 Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Blessed be his name, his glorious kingdom reigns forevermore. Hear, O Israel, the Lord God, the Lord is one. Blessed be his name, his glorious kingdom reigns Adonai, Yeshua HaMashiach Hu Adonai. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Yeshua, our Messiah, is Lord. God bless.
Behold, I will do a new thing in you. I will do a new thing in you. Behold, I will do. Behold, I will do a new thing in you. I will do a new thing in you. Behold, I will do. Even now it shall spring forth. 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 And He will make a way. He will make a way. He will make a way in the wilderness. He will make a way. Yes, He will make a way. He will make a way in the Behold, I will do a new thing in you. I will do a new thing in you. Behold, I will. Behold, I will do a new thing in you. I will do a new thing in you. Behold, I will do. Even now it shall spring forth. 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 And He will make a way. He will make a way. He will make a way in the wilderness. He will make a way. Yes, He will make a way. He will make a way in the wilderness. A way in the wilderness. A way in the
Get more music and motivation for your spiritual journey at setapartheart.com. And yes, this music is available for download on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. Thank you so much for your support.
Wait on Yahuwah, wait on Yahuwah. He will strengthen your heart, He will strengthen your heart. Wait on Yahuwah, wait on Yahuwah. He will strengthen your heart. Oh, to Yahuwah, sing to Yahuwah, a new song from your heart, a new song from your heart. Sing to Yahuwah, sing to Yahuwah, a new song from your heart. Oh, He will strengthen your heart. He will strengthen your heart. Dance for Yahuwah, dance for Yahuwah, a new dance from your heart, a new dance from your heart. Dance for Yahuwah, dance for Yahuwah, a new dance from your heart. Oh, He will strengthen your heart. He will strengthen your heart. Live for Yahuwah, live for Yahuwah. Let Him shine from your heart, let Him shine from your heart. Live for Yahuwah, live for Yahuwah. Let Him shine from your heart. Oh, He will strengthen your heart. He will strengthen your heart. Wait on Yahuwah, wait on Yahuwah. He will strengthen your heart, He will strengthen your heart. Wait on Yahuwah, wait on Yahuwah. He will strengthen your heart. Oh, He will strengthen your heart. He will strengthen your heart. Hallelujah. He will strengthen your heart. Yea, though I walk through the valley, the valley, the valley. Yeah, as I'm walking through this valley, you comfort me, you restore my soul. Yeah, you restore my soul, you restore my soul. Yeah, you restore my soul. You have prepared a table for me, it's for me, yes, for me. Yeah, you prepared this table for me. My cup, it overflows. You restore my soul. Yeah, you restore my soul. You restore my soul. Yeah, you restore my soul. Your goodness and mercy shall follow me. It shall follow me. Whoa, your goodness and mercy shall follow me. It shall follow me. Whoa, your goodness and mercy shall follow me. It shall follow me. Your goodness and mercy shall follow me. It shall follow me. I will dwell in your house forever, forever, forever. Yahuwah, you are the good shepherd, and you restore my soul, you restore my soul. You restore my soul, you restore my soul. Yeah, you restore my soul. When I'm feeling low, you restore my soul. I already know you restore my soul. Sometimes I just feel blue and you restore my soul. You make me feel brand new, you restore my soul. In the times I can't go on, you restore my soul. You give me a brand new song, you restore restore my soul. You restore my soul. You restore my soul. Little girl on the street, where is your father? A little boy all alone. Where is your mother? You're crying inside and there's nowhere to hide but your heart, your heart. Do you know why Yah loves you? Do you know just how he feels when you cry, when you cry? It hurts him so bad inside of his heart where love abides. He loves you so simply because you're his child. How many times have I cried and cried all night? Oh, for how long have I tried? Just wearing a smile. You're crying inside and there's nowhere to hide but your heart, your heart. Do you know why Yah loves you? Do you know just how he feels when you cry, when you cry? It hurts him so bad inside of his heart where love abides. He loves you so simply because you're his child. He'll understand the pain in your heart and wipes those tears away. He'll open doors where there were none before. He will love you. He will love you. Oh, and do you know why Yahuwah loves you? Do you know just how he feels when you cry, when you cry at night, cry at night? It hurts him so bad inside of his heart where love abides. He loves you so simply because you're his child. You're his child.
You can support this work by downloading the music on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. Get more music and motivation for your spiritual journey at setapartheart.com.
I never ever realized just how much you mean to me. You're the only one who can intercede for me. To take my prayer before the Father when I fall down on my knees. You know my prayer even before I speak. You're my King, even my high priest. Create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. For you're my high priest, Lord, I hold thee in time of need. Save me, oh God, from my own way. Spare me, oh Lord, to live alone. The truth that I see, you're my high priest. Looking back on my life has been so much hurt and pain. Lord, since I have found you, now all of that has changed. You gave me your word, and your word, it brought me peace. You're my King, Lord, you're my high priest. Create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. For you're my high priest, Lord, I call on thee in time of need. Save me, oh God, from my own ways. Save me. Hey, spare me, oh Lord, to live alone. The truth that I see, you're my high priest. Create in me a clean heart and renew